Good evening and Assalamu alaikum to the Poplar and Limehouse BAME Forum meeting on NEC upcoming elections. The program will run for 1 hour. I will only allow people who have already confirmed. As last time people had actually interrupted the meeting, so therefore I will only allow people who have confirmed that they will join the meeting. We have a special guest today with us, and that's Mish Rahman, one of the NEC candidates. He's a Bengali person of origin. And hopefully slowly people will join us, and we will start the meeting now. Can I ask the chair of BAME Forum Poplar and Limehouse, Mr. Junaid Ahmad Sundar, to start the meeting formally. Over to you, Baisa.
Thank you, Ruhul. Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and Shubha Sandhya. Welcome to another BAME Forum Poplar and Limehouse CLP's meeting. Tonight we have a special guest from Birmingham, I reckon, and his name is Mish Rahman. And may I welcome Mish Rahman to our Poplar and Limehouse BAME Forums meeting. We are discussing about NEC elections tonight. So luckily we have got Mish Rahman as candidate of NEC in Labour Party, and I believe that we shall discuss how we can achieve our BAME representative in NEC, because ever since we've been doing Labour Party, we did not have perhaps many BAME representative, BAME community representative in NEC. So it would be a wonderful opportunity for Mish Rahman. It is not him, it is we that he is going to represent. And we reckon that if we support Mish Rahman, more or less we'll gain from there. So I lastly wanted to welcome you all to our BAME meeting tonight. And as Ruhul says, we got short of time, 1 hour discussions. And particularly I wanted to say that we need to approach all members we know so far and to vote Mish Rahman. Thank you very much and welcome to BAME Forum meetings. Thank you, Ruhul.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I can see Kamal Hussain, the Bromley South Labour Party Chair, has joined us. Welcome, Kamal Bhai. I also see his daughter, Fahmida Anjum. She is the Poplar and Limehouse CLP Youth Officer. Welcome, Fahmida. I also see Mohammed Abdul Shukur, who's just joined us. He is the Poplar and Limehouse CLP Community Involvement Officer. Welcome, Shukur Bhai. And obviously, Mish Rahman is with us, so I hope he'll be live very soon. Can I quickly ask Fahmida to say a few words? Fahmida. We haven't saw you for a long time, so people would like to hear from you. Would you like to say something?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
We can't see you, Fahmida. Turn your video on.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Mish Rahman and congratulations. Hope you all well.
Okay. Thank you, Fahmida. Okay. Can I ask Kamal Hussain, the Bromley South Chair and BAME Forum Assistant Secretary, to say a few words? Kamal Bhai?
Thank you, Ruhul Bhai. Alhamdulillah, amra asole onek din pore amra Bengali ajon NEC.
In English, hold on. In English.
Yeah.
In English.
Okay. Our one of brother, which is from Birmingham, Mish Rahman, we proud of him, and we want to support him. Everyone other people and to request everyone to support him as well. And thank you, Mr. Chair Amasundo Sasa and Abdul Sukur Sasa and Ruhul Bhai. Well done. Great job we are doing. Inshallah, we are continue. Thank you.
Inshallah.
Thank you. Yeah, obviously we'll have more people joining us. So we have to continue the meeting because I plan to finish the meeting at 7:30 because people have to go to prayers. Quickly, can I ask Mohammed Abdul Shukur Bhai, the Poplar Limehouse Community Involvement Officer, to say a few words? Shukur Bhai, over to you. Shukur Bhai. Shukur Bhai, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. Shukur Bhai. I don't think you can hear me. Okay. Ms. Rahman, can you hear me?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum. Yes, Ms. Rahman, welcome to the meeting. Welcome to Poplar Limehouse, although not physically, but online. It's a pleasure to have you, brother. So my first question to you would be, why, if you want to sort of introduce yourself first, and I have a question for you, why should we vote for you? That's the first question, yeah?
Okay. First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure, although I'm not there physically, to virtually be in the presence of the members of Poplar and
Miss Rahman, can I interrupt here? Sorry, Ruhul. I think, shall we wait, because he's our chief guest tonight, shall we wait for more members to join in?
No,
And very lastly,
yeah.
let me just clear that. Very lastly, we shall ask a few questions. You cannot repeat similar questions again and again. So if people, those who joins in, and finally, before time, we'll give him a lot of time to explain himself and why he thinks he's too good to be a representative in NSC, things like that. So everybody can hear that, and it will inspire everyone to work for this young man. That's my suggestions. I'm not saying that we can discuss other things with him, and more people will join in, and then we'll ask him a similar question. It's a very good question you ask, but I think it would be wiser at that time. Thank you. Sorry.
No, but that's all fine. It's just that I'm mindful of the time because obviously people have to go to prayers for Maghrib. So you know what happened last time? Well, when it was Maghrib time, a lot of people left. So I don't want Ms. Rahman to be, to be speaking when there's no people there. So that's the whole idea. At least, this program is being recorded, so if people want to listen to him, they can listen to him later on. That is why I wanted to carry on. Anyway, we'll just wait another sort of 5 minutes. So, Mish, sorry about that. Because the chair said like we have to wait. Let's wait sort of another 5-10 minutes and see what happens.
I think what the chair is saying is correct. I'll tell you what. Shall we wait 5 minutes? I've got. I'll introduce myself. I've got a brief 10 minutes that I'll tell you about myself and the campaign, and then I'm happy to take questions after that. Is that okay? Shall we wait 5 minutes and then give me 10 minutes to explain why I'm standing, and then I'm happy to take your questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So we can have the questions right at the end. So do you want to introduce yourself now so everybody knows who you are? Yeah.
Do you want to wait 5 minutes for more people to come and then I'll start? Or yeah,
okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So Shukur Bhai, can you hear me now? We can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Unmute yourself, Shukur Bhai.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, right. So this is Mohammed Abdul Shukur. He's the Poplar Limehouse CLP Community Involvement Officer. Shukur Bhai, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. Thank you, BME Secretary Ruhul Amin, and thank you to BME Chair Junaid Ahmad Sundar Bhai, and to this guest, Ms. Rahman. We are very delighted to you because you are a good candidate for NEC. We'll support you and we'll try to best for your vote. Our BME will support you, uh, and you have to look after us when we will elected. Maybe, inshallah, you will be on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Shukr bhai. Right, I can see a very veteran community activist and a labor member, Shadiur Rahman Pavel Buya. How are you, Pavel bhai? Nice to see you. Welcome to the meeting. Would you like to say something, Pavel bhai? You have to unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself? Pavel bhai, we can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself. Pavel bhai, please unmute. Hold on. Let me see if I can unmute you. Hold on. Ask to unmute. We can hear you now.
Okay now?
Yes, it's okay now. Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone, or good evening to the host of Ruhul Amin and BME Chair, Janab Sundar Mia, and everyone joining today of this meeting, Shakur Bhai, and so on. So, thanks to everyone for this meeting today. And obviously, I will make my comment on after when the meeting will be in a bit more on the comment about and what actually we're looking and all these things. Then obviously I could put my comment or suggestion, whatever I believe is right for this meeting or for the NEC to become involvement in the NEC committee or NEC meeting. Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Pavel bhai. So I think, Chair, shall we wait any longer, or do you think we should go to Mish?
How many people do we have
We have
now?
6 people.
6 people. We still got says, you know, like let's wait another 10 minutes or so. Like 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we'll ask our guest to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we can
So in that
sort of
time,
discuss,
yeah,
various issues. I
yeah,
suppose.
anything, any other
Mish bhai,
issues we can discuss.
Mish Rahman.
I think
So
I think
tell us
I must
about where
remind
you
you.
live and your political journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, thank you for inviting me, and thank you, Chair and Secretary as well for arranging this event. So I'm a CLP chair in an old Labour town, which is now increasingly dominated by Tories. I mean, I despair the lack of a proper, efficient, well-run organisation which maximises the opportunities for members to be involved, and that involves campaigning and fundraising and compliance, because the membership gives so much to the party and they get so little in return. This is something that has to change. I've been a member of the party currently since 2014, and I've campaigned in every local, regional, general and European election since then. I've stood as a paper candidate in 2 local elections myself. As a CLP chair, I put my name forward. So I've always attended my CLP meetings. I first became the first executive within my CLP from a BAME background, as well as being one of the CLP's representatives to the LCF. I was also campaign coordinator for my CLP, and I'm currently the chair and the BAME officer. So I think I'm one of the first CLP chairs of Bangladeshi heritage within the Labour Party, maybe outside London. I'm one of the first graduates of the Bernie Grant Leadership Programme, which is held by the Labour Party to promote people of BAME backgrounds, where I gained proper valuable training and experience. And I'm also a graduate of my union, which is Unite the Union, and their political school. And I'm also an active branch member there. So as a CLP chair, you're obviously required to have a good understanding of Labour Party structures, including the rules, as well as informal conventions. And as CLP chair, obviously, we're required to audit and help the treasurer. I've also been integral parts of regional campaign teams, notably the West Midlands Metro Mayor and the West Midlands Police and Crime Commission as well. And I've also helped for a national campaign for a Labour Party deputy leader candidate in the recent leadership elections, helping lead their campaign in my region. Obviously, my aims and objectives, once I get elected, hopefully onto the NEC, I will express further. So yeah, that's basically who I am and where I am.
Thank you. Thank you,
I think,
but,
excuse me,
Honorable
I
Kamlesh.
think this is the Maghrib time. This is the Maghrib time. Already is the Azan already done. So can you have a break for 10, 15 minutes?
Right. Thing is, we can have a break. Okay, Pablo. Okay, you can go and pray, and we'll just continue because I wanted to end this meeting around about 7:30, so we could all pray.
All right,
But if you want to go now, it's okay. You can go now
All
and
right,
pray and
thank you.
come back. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Right. So, Mish, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why should we vote for you?
Obviously, that's a very broad question. Like I said, I have got a statement which I did prepare, which I think would answer a lot of these questions. Just to explain why you should vote for me as a question. It's going to require a large answer. Do you want me to give my statement, which I prepared, or?
Yeah, the statement is fine. Yeah, because it's going to be recorded, so if people want to see what you really represent, what your views are, where you stand on certain issues, then people can actually see. That's why I'm asking this question. Yeah. So just read out the statement. That should be fine.
So obviously, thank you again for inviting me. So I'm from a Bangladeshi family with deep roots in Walsall in the West Midlands, and my grandfather was a foundry worker and a miner who moved to Walsall in 1960. He was followed by my parents in the 1970s, and that's when I was born in Walsall, which Walsall is just outside Birmingham in the West Midlands. Now, as you all know, as you all from various BAME backgrounds, workers in the Bangladeshi community in the 70s and 80s were largely employed in the Indian restaurant industry, and they worked unsociable hours in the evenings and often having very little time to spend with family. So while many Bangladeshi people in this period were heavily involved in anti-racist organizing and in many workplace struggles, many others simply did not have the time to engage in politics because of the demands of work and their other social pressures. So politics and community organizing was seen as a privilege, often reserved for those who are educated within our community and students and graduates and workers in specific sectors. So too often, Labour candidacies have been secured by clinging on to the coattails of influential people in our movement. And that's led to many instances where those who seek to represent our communities end up compromising on everything they stand for in the first place. And this is where me and my candidacy will promise something different. It typifies the experience of so many of our BAME communities, and it's exactly why it's vitally important that we deliver a radical change in the involvement that BAME people hold in the labor movement today. So the Bangladeshi community of Warsaw, where I live, has never ever held any representation at any elected level. I was, I think, the first Labour candidate of Bangladeshi heritage just to stand in the borough's local council elections until I was encouraged to stand through the Bernie Grant Leadership Programme, which brought together some of the most talented BAME activists from across the country. Even I didn't fully understand or recognise my potential. So being the first Labour candidate and also one of the first Labour's Bernie Grant Leadership Programme graduates, I'm standing now in the NEC elections to push for better inclusion and representation for BAME communities. And I want to ensure that this important body, which the NEC is, the highest governing body of the Labour Party, reflects the diversity, not just of our party, but of the whole United Kingdom. Because I also want people, I want to prove that people like myself offer more than just diversity, because we have a huge amount to contribute to the fight for a better society. Now, what we need to do is we need to build our movement in a way that we end the stitch ups and the backroom deals and the gatekeeping that we fall into the trap of, because those who represent us has to be democratically chosen and accountable to the people that we represent. That's where our ideals should point towards, and that's where our core principles as honest people should revolve around. So many BAME people come from different backgrounds, have experienced the same obstacles to the ones that I have experienced at different levels, be it locally, regionally, nationally. Their experiences, their commitment, and their track record have been dismissed in favor of hand-picked, established names based on who you know and what you know. So these people need support to organize and to stand, and building that support is a major priority of mine. But we shouldn't just pause that representation. What we have to see is we've got to remember that racism is still prevalent and systematic, and it works across all structures. And we need to respond to that with a vision for anti-racist campaigning that works to tackle racism of every type in our community. We cannot be just silent. We can't just stand still, and we mustn't be bystanders as well. We have to organize against all racism and oppression in our party and in our community. So what we've recently learned with various movements that have happened, such as Black Lives Matters, and of course in London, throughout the history, you've recognized the anti-racist movement going back to the years of Al-Tabali. Empty platitudes won't heal wounds. We have to have action, and we have to end the one rule for some and another rule for others in society. And we must end it in our party and in the Labour movement. So we need to learn more fully what the obstacles are and to resolve them and to remove them, so we can grow a proper, inclusive and democratic movement. And we've got to welcome people of different heritages and different communities. And also we've got to facilitate their development and not just hinder their progress by just leaving it up and holding up barriers to stop people from coming in. We have to be the voice that says the working class is not just white. The working class is black. The working class is Chinese. The working class is Bangladeshi as well. It's every part of our society, and we have to endeavor to lift up the whole working class in all of its diversity. So as I've said, I've seen so many tokenistic reforms and half measures which has failed to tackle the deep-rooted racism that stops us and our communities progressing. This is why our party must join in the fight for this systemic change and change to a justice system that criminalizes young people, that penalizes people in housing, and ends up with this racialized health inequality as well in our society. And the Labour Party has to lead from the front on these issues. So Labour has also been too quiet on the scapegoating of refugees, on migrants, and that's why recently in the Independent newspaper, I called out Keir Starmer to stand up for the rights of refugees, for the rights of migrants, and to make clear that no human being is illegal. So if I'm elected to the NEC, I'll fight for Labour to adopt these strong policies in support of our communities, in support of refugees, in support of migrants' rights, including providing safe and legal routes for asylum seekers, and inequality and unemployment caused by Tory policies. We're going to fight back against this. And again, Labour has to establish a proper, meaningful and dynamic relationship where we understand that communities like ours are not taken for granted. We've got to make sure that our people, even if they don't vote for Labour, if they don't vote for the Conservatives, they probably will end up not voting at all, because our communities are seen too often to be taken for granted. So we need to do this, and we need to make sure that the Conservatives don't set the political agenda. The Labour Party does, and the Labour Party does this by capturing the hunger of people like me and you, and by offering us a vision of the future we need, which is a sustainable, equal society where everybody is equal, everybody has good jobs, everybody has decent homes, and nobody is an exception, especially people, regardless of the color of their skin, what background they come from, what gender they are, and where they come from, where their roots are. So we have a future to win and a future to change. And myself on the NEC, with all your help, and with the community as a whole, the whole wider community, I think we can all achieve and help each other get there.
Thank you, yeah, Mish Rahman. So I can see the Cobra Limehouse fundraising officer, Jakir Hussain, has just joined us. Jakir bhai, would you like to say something? Any comments?
Yeah, Mish, Assalamu alaikum, and yes, very nice to have you here with us. You spoke about racism and how you would represent our community, the BAME community. Would you agree that we need policy changes, legislative changes? So, for example, you have the 50-50 women quota. Can you champion something similar whereby at the local level, when it comes to standing MPs, they have the all women shortlist? Why can't we have an all BAME shortlist? That is the only way we'll actually ensure. Otherwise, the tokenism will carry on. And another thing as well, what would you do to unite the BAME community? And what I mean by the BAME community, especially because the Bangladesh community is very fragmented. In terms of actual leadership, I can't see how, if we were as united and had these sort of quality leadership, we would have a male MP by now. And isn't it amazing, astonishing that after 30, 40 years of Hamlet's politics, we don't have a male MP? Yeah, it's good we've got 4 women MPs, but if it's about equality, so shouldn't we have 4 male MPs? So what would you do to fight for that cause, whereby make legislative policy changes, so that way it's not a case of whether you get voted in, it's it's whether a BAME person gets voted in or gets gets their a fair share. It will be actual legislative, so that way the rule book and all the other guidance will say, yes, you need a BAME person in this post, or it must be a BAME person this year or next year. I think that is the only thing that's going to work. And just to clarify, I mean more about the CLPs. For example, our CLP has never had a BAME chair. LCF has never had a BAME chair. Can you imagine? Tower Hamlets never had it. Never had it. So these are real issues, but I haven't seen anyone really talk about it. That is the sad part. As a community, the reason why I keep going back to the Bangladesh community when I refer to BAME is because we are the most dominant community here at the moment in terms of numbers. But it seems to me, after being involved in 2 years of politics with the Labour Party, there's no actual real concern. It really concerned me that we're always doing they'll make us the secretary. But what's that? Doing all the paperwork? What is the leadership? I'm sorry I know we've just suddenly sort of met over Zoom, but I feel very passionate that we are being left behind. And the worst part is, a lot of our leadership, they don't care. And we get divided so easily, so quickly. Oh, someone comes to me tomorrow and says, actually, I'll try and make you a councillor. I'll sell my community. What would you do as a leader to bring the people together? And these little carrots that they give to us, how would you show people, actually, that's just a carrot. Once you eat the carrot, there's nothing else afterwards. But for that carrot, you've just sold your community. We have big issues here. And, I was very happy to see a Bangladeshi person now, hopefully going into the NEC, and you have my full support. I was very happy when Ruhul Bhai told me that, Mish Rahman is, hopefully will be on the NEC. But what would you do to bring legislative changes and bring the Bangladeshi community together so that we don't sell ourselves short and we realize the bigger picture? Because at the moment, as I said, someone offers me a councillorship and that's it. I've sold my community for 30 silver. So that's what I want to know from yourself. What policy changes or legislative changes would you be fighting for? And would you be able to, bring about changes like they have with the women's quota, 50-50? Can we have BAME proportional representation at a CLP level? And when it comes to MP elections, similar as well. When it comes to councillor elections, similar as well. So I've said much. I'll stop there, and I would like to know your thoughts, Mish.
Thank you for your question. It's a very complex question, and unfortunately, I'll have to say that I don't agree with a lot of the stuff you said, and I'll explain why. I'll tell you why. I'll explain why. So, I don't want to be another voice on the NEC, and I don't want to be a voice that's just going to be there representing a voice of diversity. I want to be a voice of every single person of color that has faced discrimination. Now, self-organizing does not just mean that you follow the process. It's got to create your own, and you've got to be the change, and you've got to deliver that real meaningful change yourself. So I'm a CLP chair. I am the only BAME person in my whole CLP as well. And I didn't need anybody to back me up. I did it through my own activism. And I went where the movement or the labor movement took me. So if the labor movement thought that it's important for somebody like me to be a CLP chair, I will go there. If the labor movement thinks it's important for me, somebody like me, to be a councillor or to be a NEC member, I will go there because the movement wants me to go there, and because my activism will also take me there. You know this, and everybody knows this. Nobody does anything for anybody. We do it for a fairer society, and unless you do it yourself, you won't achieve anything. So, like I said before, nobody will achieve anything on the coattails of others. When you say that you don't have any representation in your CLPs from your community, it's a sad thing because obviously the numbers are there and your community is predominant in that area. So you should be organizing to make sure that you have voice and proper representation at every level of the party. So that should be in your branches, in your constituencies, and on your council. Now, the other problem about why our people are misrepresented, so the situation in London and the situation outside London for Bangladeshis in particular is completely different. I have to say, in London, it's a bubble. Outside London, the situation for Bangladeshi community is very, very different. I think there's about 120 Bangladeshi councillors in the whole of the UK, and about 70 or 80 of them live in London. And outside the whole of the UK, there's another about 30 or 40. In Walsall, where I live, my family have lived there for 60 years. There's never been any Bangladeshi representation, never ever. In Birmingham, we have 2 Bangladeshi councillors. In the whole of the West Midlands, which is a massive region, I think we have 3 or 5, sorry, 5 in total. So what you have to understand is, first, why do you want representation, and why does our community members want to be representative? They have to do it for the right reasons, first of all, not because I want to be a councillor or I want to be an MP. If somebody comes and says, I want to be a councillor and I want to be an MP, that's the first person you should not elect. You should elect somebody who the community thinks is going to be suitable to represent that community and is going to speak truth to power in front of your face. So he will not be bound by anybody or any reason because they owe him a favor or whatever. You have to you have to elect people who will speak truth to power and will represent the community based on their political ideology and what's right for the community. Too often, I'm sad to say that too often, many people in our movement, when it comes to political ideology, are lacking. They end up doing what the Tories do. So the Tories implement cuts, and the councils and the councillors continue cutting without fighting back at all. Then what happens is the bureaucratic structure where people at the top say, we've got to do this. And the councillors, in many cases throughout the country, I'm talking about the wider network, fall in line and have to do what they do. Very few people stand up and say, no, maybe we need more municipal socialism than more municipal neoliberalism. And this is what's lacking. We need in our communities, especially, we need more political education. So this is something, as me as a product of political education, this is something I will be championing, that more BAME people get more political education so they know how to organize, they know how to raise, they know how to stand up for themselves for representation, and they also realize that they need more better activism. So this is something I will champion. Regarding quotas and everything, AWS is something that's essential because we need more women in politics. And it doesn't really justify just because we've got 4 women that we must have 4 men as well. What we need is we need good representation, whether they're women or men. But I do understand that it's unfortunate for a population of what we've got 700,000 Bangladeshis in the UK, the seventh highest ethnicity, and we have only 4 MPs. So we need more than that. And outside London, we have 0 representation, and all 4 of the MPs are in London. So we need more representation. No doubt we need more MPs. What we do need is we also need more BAME representation. So I agree with you. I would be backing that we have not necessarily quotas, because we've got to see what the legal implications are, whether we're legally allowed. But we definitely need, and I will be definitely speaking up for more BAME representation, especially in Parliament and in local councils and stuff. But where you are predominant and that you still lack representation, unfortunately, that's because the system that you live in, that system has to change, and you need more people who are going to speak truth to power. And if any council or any representative doesn't do what the public does, get rid of them. You have the right to change them every 2 or 3 or every 4-year term. Change them and elect somebody that you think will do the job. It's as simple as that. I hope I answered your question, my brother.
Yeah, Jackie, okay, you want to say something? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just going to say, okay, you know, that's absolutely fine. What you said about, you know, you were speaking up. Now, speaking up is one thing, and you can speak up and, you know, people will hear you. But what I've seen, again, in my 38 years of life and, you know, being born and brought up in this country, is that through legislative changes, it's something that becomes mandatory for, let's say, the Labour Party to follow. You can speak up, you can be heard, and, you know, people will appreciate you for that. Unless the legislative changes, it would just be you standing against them, and that's where we will be. That's why, for me, legislative change is very important. And the reason why you have the 50-50 representation.
To bring legislative changes in the Labour Party, what you do need to do, you need to pass motions at conference. So this is something that you will need to speak to. You need to consult with other CLP members. If there is a force for change, recognize this, then you will definitely get more support, and you will have to get this passed at conference. But like I said, we need more BAME representation. That is no doubt. I don't think anybody in the party disagrees with that. But obviously, these are just words. What we need to make sure that these are properly implemented and we get more BAME representation.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mish. Thank you, everybody. Can I ask our CLP IT officer, Abul Qasim Halal, to say a few words? Halal bhai. Halal bhai. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Rulu bhai. Thank you for giving me a chance. So I just, sorry, sorry, my apology. I'm very busy at the moment. I'm somewhere. So I just thank to everyone, and I support today you arranged this lovely program, lovely evening. So I just support, and I just give my apology. Sorry, Rahul bhai.
Okay, no problem. That's fine.
Sorry, I'm now a little bit far away, and network very poor. So you can carry on, please.
Okay. Thank you, Rahul bhai. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Rahul bhai. Thank you very much.
I can see was Dilwar bhai. Dilwar bhai was here. Dilwar bhai is still here. I think he's left. Okay. Yeah, Dilwar bhai, can you hear me? Hello. Manna bhai, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, Manna bhai. Yeah. Welcome to the meeting.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like to say anything? Any comments?
I would like to say good evening, assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Ruhul bhai. Ruhul bhai always is very active in the community, and I always see Ruhul bhai campaigning against a lot of wrongdoing happening in the community. So thank you, Ruhul bhai, for organizing this event. And I'm really happy actually to see Mish Rahman is participating in this process. And yeah, all I would like to say, I'm really happy to see people like Mish Rahman, and you are also helping him to get selected. So thank you.
Thank you, Manna bhai. Right, Dilwar bhai, can you hear me? Dilwar bhai.
I just wanted to intervene.
Okay.
Thank you, Ruhul. Thank you. I just wanted to correct few, like it's just small minor things. I do understand many of our comrades have asked Mish Rahman various questions. It's get to know one another. It's very good, good interactions and good relations built from there. Nevertheless, tonight we gathered. I just wanted to correct one thing. Manna have said it's a good event. It is good event, and it is a formal meeting by Poplar and Limehouse BAME Forum, formal meeting. What we trying to do is just to promote, as Mish Rahman have mentioned, he wanted to promote BAME opportunities. That's what we are trying to do. We are representing BAME community all the way, and we want to be faithful and fair with every and each of you. So accept my sincere apologies. I'm trying to put us together and work together. I should say that the time, I think I have spoken personally with Mish Rahman. In 1967, I end up near his hometown, which is Waynesbury. He knows. And the place, the school I went to while I was young, it's near his home. So here you go. The world is so small, we can bump into one another here and there. It's nevertheless. So let's work and let's look for the prosperous future of BAME community. As we all know that we talk about Tower Hamlet, just for a glimpse. What is happening at the moment is not, it's not fair for BAME community. Like due to the pandemic COVID-19, it's unprecedented time, and people are taking opportunities, such you call livable streets, such you call parking issues, such you call COVID test center, such you call other issues. But in sense, there are within the party, the manifesto say one thing, and we feel as BAME community, we feel that we've been treated in a different way. How we could overcome from this? That's why we says, let us get together, let us build our leadership, let us build our voice from here, and if we got a representative in NEC, then somebody can faithfully. I'm very proud that this young man, Mish Rahman, have said, I belongs to diverse community. I am BAME community, but I represent diverse community. I will hear from every angle. Like we wanted to represent, or we wanted to talk about people, those who are deprived from something, their rights and stuff. Says we can talk about other things, but we could see that where people been neglected, where what things needed. So above all, if we think together, guys, we can create some movement here. We can pass our messages to NEC, and if we luckily could elect Mish Rahman, we at least can say that we have done something, and we can talk to somebody, and we can say you can put up, but it may not bring changes overnight, but gradually, as Hafiz Zakir Hussain have said, another lovely things, that equal opportunity says we got 4 women in the parliament, and we want male, it's equal opportunity. Slowly we'll get to that, slowly, but we united. It's a say that united we stand, divided we fall. Question is, we got many minded people amongst us, and it's spoiling us at all, totally. We've been spoiled by that. So if we stay together and if we put our voice together, my message is for all of you tonight, and my humble request that many contracts, many members, many people, you should persuade for Mish Rahman, and saying that this is a man with the principle. He works, he's going to represent diverse community, not only BAME community. So I reckon that we have chosen the right person, and if we can elect this young man, we at least can talk to him and exchange views sometime. What is happening here within Tower Hamlet where we live, let us create our movement here, and collectively we can put our voice up to NEC. So my message is to Manna that it is not an event, it is a formal meeting. My sincere apologies, Baba. It's like Ruhul is doing ever since best of his ability and knowledge, just creating. He could do a meeting every day. Like people don't have that much time. With other CLPs throughout the country, throughout UK, if you suss out, you would see people hardly called meeting in that pandemic circumstances. So I would thank my secretary especially that he is very keen in it. He wanted to do meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings. This man is born to be in meetings. He's kind of a movement for me. So since he joined me in today, I must say it on air, since he came near me, I feel that I'm lively. Very first day I told him that I start feeling better when you come near me, because he's a guy who inspires people. So it's not Ruhul, it's all of us here. We all together, it means something to the authority. So let's look forward tonight. I am not going to ask you guys to ask so many questions. You can have Rahman's contract. You can personally email him. You can personally ask question to him. And I believe that he's man of his word. At least we could say to ourselves that being BAME community, we have elected, or we try our best for one man. So my humble request to you all, please, 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 let's have no more negligence. Let's work for this young man and look for the when the ballot is coming. We need to approach all of our members just to vote Mr. Rahman and others. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your lovely words, Chair. It means a lot to me. It's good to have some positive feedback sometimes. Can I, Dilorbai, are you online now? Because I was trying to get you to say something. Dilorbai, can you hear me? Okay, I think he's having connection problems. Right, we have Councillor Purumia. He's got his hand up. I was going to ask you anyway, but you put your hand up. From Mylan. Purumbai, would you like to put your video on? We would love to see you. Purumbai, would you like to say something? Councillor Purumia.
Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone? Thanks to Mishbai for coming down. We've Mishbai. Hello?
Yeah, we can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thanks Mishbai for coming down. We can say we're fellow travelers in a way, and I'll leave it at that. But just want to pick up on what Zakir Bhai said and what Mish replied. Good representation is important, but one of the ways of getting good representation is through party democracy. And Mish, you would know, you're in the West Midlands, and we would know in Tower Hamlets that there's a problem of impositions and special measures. There are parties, local parties in your area that are still under special measures. And I know Shabana Mahmood, the local MP in your area, always bangs on about it. Like, why are these parties in special measures which have a large BA population? And that's over 20 years. And we've had impositions for about the same time as well. It's only recently that members had the right to select their councillors. And it's because of I was selected by the membership that I could speak on behalf of the membership.
and I have the courage from the membership to speak on behalf of them, and sometimes say no to these cuts that you were talking about. And according to the newspapers, I was suspended as well for that, along with Gabby, another councillor. That's according to the newspapers. But what it is Mish, you know, let's talk business here. You know, we will go to the membership here and basically ask them to vote for you, but not just vote for you, but vote for the other 5 on the slate. So I just want to explain that the way the election system is different this year. It's called a single transferable vote. So we just don't vote for Mishbai. We vote for the 5 other candidates, the 6 on the grassroots, and there's a certain order as well. So Mishbai would be number 1 in Tower Hamlets, inshallah, and then there's an order, and we have to stick to that order. So it's not just getting Mishbai through, but we need to get a team there to support him in the NEC, because you know, just like in the council, it's very difficult one person speaking out. If there's a team, then it's much you could get things done. So we need to get that. But the thing is, Mishbai, we know you know, the members here have a good relationship with John Landsman, and he's standing down from the NEC, and the last thing he did was he put a motion on the NEC against special measures and against impositions, and that motion passed. And inshallah, if you're elected, Mishbai, we would expect you to pick that up and reverse the special measures, reverse impositions, and areas that have special measures and impositions lifted, we would want an undertaking from you to pick up the good work that's been done since the Shami Chakrabarti report, and not just hold on to that, but remove the remaining BME CLPs that are under special measures and impositions. I know you have that commitment, but for the sake of this meeting, do we have that commitment from you, Mishbai?
Thank you, Purabhai. First of all, nice to see you. Obviously, we are comrades in arms. Now, it's a good thing that you raised. So impositions are normally used to weaponize against BAME communities, so then they can handpick. I spoke about this in my opening statement. So they can handpick the regional, whatever the powers to be, can handpick and send people in place who they think their face fits. And this is something which is obviously against democracy. And you're right, the Chakrabarti report, to implement that, we would have to get rid of impositions, and especially special measures need to be looked at. Why are certain CLPs in special measures for such a long period of time? So it's used to an advantage. So absolutely, my stance is towards democracy. I am a believer of democracy. I am against all kinds of stitch-ups. And this is something that I will 100% guarantee that in terms of accountability, transparency, and democracy, I will be on your side. So yes, this is something that we need to look at, because, as you said, these impositions are unfavorable, especially to BAME communities. And you will recognize that most of the time, it's BAME communities that are the subject of imposition. So yeah, 100%.
So can we have a commitment from you, Mishbai, that inshallah, when you're elected to the NEC, that you raise this as an issue, and then report back to the BME forum here as to the feedback because I know this has been raised with the General Secretary, the new General Secretary, and the General Secretary said that he'll report back. So obviously, I
will raise that. Inshallah, if I'm elected onto the NEC, I will raise this question and I will report back to you guys on what's going on. And not just that, I will actively find out why certain areas are under imposition, and I will look into it deeper as well.
But a commitment that Hamlet should not go back to impositions or special measures as well, Mishbai. Yeah.
Say again, you broke up.
So that Tower Hamlet should not go into impositions or special measures as well.
I can't give that commitment because I don't know what the situation is. What I did say is I will look into why impositions happen. I will argue against impositions because, like I said, these are weaponized against our communities, and I will try my best to make sure that candidates are democratically elected everywhere.
So just to let you know, there's a specific motion on Tower Hamlets that was raised and was passed by the NEC. So if you can get a feedback from the General Secretary as a first point of action, inshallah, when you get elected, and report back to the BME forum.
I will. If
the General Secretary.
If there's an outstanding if there's an outstanding resolution, I will. If I get elected, I'll find out what it is and I will feedback definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to Councillor Purumia for asking a very crucial question, which we all are very concerned about. I was going to actually ask the question myself, but Purumia has asked it already. And thanks for the nice answer, Mishbhai. Right, I'd like to ask, Akhtar Mia is a community activist from Shadwell, a Labour Party member. Akhtar bhai, please say something. We can't hear you. Akhtar bhai, we cannot hear you. Right, Jahed bhai, can you hear me?
His
Jahed bhai.
mic is unmute.
Jahed bhai. Jahed bhai, can you hear me? He's in another world. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions?
I think, Ruhul, I think as agreed earlier when we start the meeting, 7:30, time is up. Truly
Yeah,
speaking,
it's 7:30 now, so we have to finish the meeting. Yeah.
we ask Mishram so many questions tonight, and particularly, people can have his direct contract as well, and we can continue with that. It is not our first meeting; it's going to be more other meetings. So all we need, every comrades they join in. Everybody deserves to say few words. I am very grateful that you actually look as I have looked as well, that so many comrades are still there, and you personally ask everyone to say something. So could you ask Akhtar if he's still hearing, or Jahed Mia?
Akhtar bhai, can you hear me?
No, I think we should wrap up the meeting.
Yeah, Akhtar bhai. Akhtar bhai, can you hear me? We can't hear you. There's something wrong with your mic. Anyway, I think Chair, I think we'll have to end the meeting because people have to go to prayer. I tried to speak to Jahad bhai as well. Jahad bhai, I don't think you can hear me either. Anyway, thanks to everyone for actually coming to the meeting.
Ruhul bhai.
Yes.
Ruhul bhai, just before Chair wraps up, I am coming to London on Sunday. On Sunday, I will be in London. I will be in Poplar. I've got a meeting with my campaign team, and I've organised so the meeting is in East London, so then I can meet as many of you as possible. I'll be in London all day. I'll WhatsApp you, Purubai, Mannabai, Shundar, Sasa. I will WhatsApp you all where I will be, and I'll be there on Sunday I'll be on Sunday from midday till late in the evening. I'll be in London, so I'll see you all in London on Sunday, socially distant, inshallah. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, inshallah. Okay, no problem. We will talk to each other, inshallah. And thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks to Mish for coming as well.
Thank you, Rulbhai.
And I was going to actually ask you more questions, but obviously time has run out. And obviously we will talk to each other very soon. I think Pavel bhai wanted to ask a few questions, but we will have to wrap it up. So thanks to everyone once again. Chair, so I'll end the meeting here. Would you like to say anything before I actually end the meeting, Faisal?
Thank you very much, all comrades, to join in tonight's BM for our meeting, and particularly thank you very much, Mish Rahman. I reckon that tonight we could not ask Mish Rahman so many questions, as he says that he's round here on Sunday. if any free, we can go around and is Akhtar here? Do you Akhtar, can you hear me? No.
No, we can't hear Akhtar. Jahid bhai, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Assalamu alaikum, Rubai.
Walaikum. Yes, please say something. It's been nice to have you. We miss you a lot.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, my apologies. I was in namaz and I got connected a bit late.
So,
my apologies.
Yeah, so basically we're discussing about the NEC, upcoming NEC elections. We've got a special guest, Mish Rahman from Birmingham. Is standing for the NEC position. Would you like to say something?
Oh, thanks for his effort.
Comment?
Oh no, I mean, you guys doing great work, but I think I need to get more involved. Basically, you know, my lack of timing is not good at the moment. No, I mean, alhamdulillah, so far so good, but Purubai, I'll discuss with Purubai as well. He's my local, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Purubai, assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, really appreciate your support. Pavel bhai, we will
thank you for your commitment.
We're about to end the meeting. Sorry, Jai.
Okay. Can I just announce to wrap up the meeting what I will say? Thank you very much all for joining into this Poplar and Limehouse BM for our Zoom meeting, and thank you Ruhul to facilitate everyone, and hopefully we shall meet again, and good evening to you all, and have a stay safe, stay home. Thank you very much, and I declare meeting is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Good evening and assalamu alaikum.